Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm discussing communication skills to help you level up your ability to express yourself. In this episode, I'm going to be speaking about the group thinker and how to make a transition into the world of being an independent thinker. Who is this group thinker? A group thinker is an individual who has suppressed their ability to think critically, or better yet, gave their critical thinking faculties to the herd, so the herd can think for them. Why would any sane individual do something like this? They do something like this because thinking requires effort. It requires work, but most importantly, it requires a stomach for failure. And to be honest, a lot of people just cannot handle failures, which is why they allow this herd to think for them. In case anything goes wrong, then they can always blame the herd. Here's the issue though. At one point or another, a group thinker reaches a daunting conclusion. There's one moment when the group is echoing a sentiment that this individual vehemently disagrees with. What happens when a situation like that happens? Does this individual sacrifice their principles or lack of it and listen to this group? Or do they finally wake up and learn to think for themselves? Since they've been listening to this herd for so long, this individual doesn't have confidence behind their critical thinking skills. So you want to make that transition from the herd to an independent thinker sooner than later. Because this independence brings to you a whole bunch of rewards. You start to become more creative. You start to have out-of-world ideas. When you speak, other people want to listen because you're not predictable like sheep. And the truth of the matter is that we can all become independent thinkers. Yes, there is a formula for it. And in this episode, I'm going to be giving you my personal formula to make this beautiful transition so you can build your persuasion skills. If you're ready and excited for today's episode, be sure to drop that like for me right on below. Why are so many people adopting the role of the herd? It's because our middle school, high school self, that desire to be popular, is manifesting itself in adult form. You know, when we were in middle school and high school and we wanted to be that popular kid, we wanted to sit with the other popular kids at their lunch table. And when we couldn't, we felt ostracized. That's a software that we had in middle school, high school, maybe even college, and we mistakenly took it into the real world. In the real world, still, at this point, we equate popularity with quantity. When we see a lot of individuals thinking in a certain way, behaving in a certain way, we think it's a popular thing to do. And we think that this popularity is bringing in high ROI activities. Not really. All it's doing is it's making our life messier than ever. And we need to have that realization on our own. So we finally wake up and we start saying, all right, I don't want others thinking for me so much. This is actually something that I can do that even animals can't do. Animals can follow, but a human can think. So how about I finally exercise this ability? When you have that waking up moment, that's when you begin your new journey. So you have chosen the life of wanting to be an independent thinker. What would you say are the two most important variables, Armani, to be in this lifestyle? A vision and thick skin. These two start off a beautiful chain on what it means to have a sharp intellect. Let me explain. For you to be an independent thinker, you need to have a vision that you're currently working on. If the vision is extremely unique, it's going to be extremely blurry. And when it's extremely blurry, your chance for failing rises more and more and more. But if your desire for this vision is extremely strong, then you keep moving forward and forward and forward, taking each failure to the chin. But don't feel so bummed out yet, because as you're taking these failures to the chin and you're moving forward anyways, you're toughening your skin. And as you're toughening your skin, you're also clarifying your vision. So a vision allows you to start your journey to building thick skin, and thick skin clarifies that vision. So these two work together. As they're working together, you'll notice different effects in your life. Another effect is that you become more emotionally intelligent. I define emotional intelligence as being able to accept the good, the bad, and the ugly emotions and still take purposeful action. If you're able to have that control over your emotions, then you build a strong architecture for your mind to sit on top of. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm not immediately jumping into how to think. I'm getting you to have an in-depth understanding. With thick skin, with a vision, you have control over your emotions. If you don't have control over your emotions, I don't care how good you think, you're still going to be brainwashed. But if you have a strong control over your emotions, your mind sits upon a strong architecture. And this mind is what I call an unruffled mind, a still mind. This mind is able to concentrate. You don't get distracted so easily. You're able to hold focus for an extended period of time and make decisions. Think in a certain way. And with this enhanced concentration, you finally are able to build sharp intellectual skills. What is intellect, Armani? Can you make it extremely simple for me to understand? Yeah, intellect is your ability to make true or false statements. That's the most simple way I can define it. True or false. But do you see why we didn't jump immediately into the intellect? Because how are you going to make true or false statements if you don't have a vision in the first place? If you don't have a vision, then others are going to tell you, hey, this is true, this is false, and just believe it, okay? But with this vision, your paradigm shifts and you start wearing this vision as goggles, and you're able to evaluate the premise of true or false from the uniqueness of your vision. So you become extremely difficult to control because your intellect is from a different dimension and you've built judgment along the way. So let's break it down. A vision leads to thick skin. A thick skin leads to enhanced vision. These two combined allows you to better regulate your emotions. The ability to regulate your emotions allows your mind to be unruffled. An unruffled mind leads to the ability to concentrate with grace. And that sharp concentration muscle allows you to have a razor sharp intellect where you're able to make true or false statements. This is the journey of an independent thinker, and many will never experience this journey just because they're too scared to fail. Due to this fear of not wanting to fail, they're always going to think like a herd. A lot of these herd thinkers think they're independent until one day they realize they're being crucified for having different beliefs, and their thin skin makes them conform once again. You don't want to be like that. That takes away from your power and takes away from your own unique individual creative expression. So take the road less taken. Become an independent thinker. Work on each of the stages that we described in today's episode. And as you have a unique thinking faculty process, your ability to communicate becomes fun. You persuade others because you're unique, you're interesting, you're not like the sheep. That's the kind of stuff that we discuss in this channel. If you learned a thing or two in today's episode, be sure you check out the ArmaniTalks newsletter, a newsletter that goes out every single day at 7 p.m. EST. Thousands of people have signed up and learned more about public speaking, storytelling, emotional intelligence, and much, much more. To join the tribe, check out the link in the description box right on below. And thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel.